And welcome back to our latest episode of West Coast XC. I am your host, Ken Martinez. If you're watching, that means you're watching on YouTube. Do us a favor, please subscribe. That really helps. And if you're listening on Apple Podcast or Spotify, please follow. In this episode, I'll do a little bit of a recap of the meets I went to last week, but most of this episode will be previewing the Oregon State meet and also the Washington State meet. We'll have Thor Esbensen of IW Wells High School in Portland talking about the Oregon State meet, and we'll have Matt Ellis of Bellarmine Prep High School out in Tacoma talking about the Washington State meet. So it's time. It's already championship season. And this past week, I went to two meets that are qualifiers for both state meets. I went to the Metro League District Meet in Beaverton, Oregon. In Oregon, the teams and the athletes just have to qualify out of their league meet to go to the state meet. And so at the Metro League meet on Wednesday at THPRD in Beaverton, I watched the girls varsity race, and I talked to Naomi Cesar of Sunset. And she ran 17:47:35, and she'll tell you about her experience racing out there. And then I talked to the Jesuit boys in general. They're ranked 5th in the country according to DieStat. One of the runners, Kellen Williams, he's to the right of the interview, ran 14:47:97 to set a meet record. They took 6 of the 7 spots in the varsity race. And they talk about that this is the beginning of the postseason and how they're taking that very seriously. So let's listen to Naomi and to the Jesuit boys.
I'm with Naomi Cesar of Sunset High School. Ladies and gentlemen, Metro League champion. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So tell me about the race out there. What was the strategy?
I really just wanted to win. I'm coming off a pretty big week. I was in the Middle East last week racing at 800, so didn't really want to test out too much. So I just wanted to, go out there and see what I could do because I'm still pretty tired.
And you're supporting your teammates. It looks like your girls made the state meet, maybe?
Yeah, we did. We should have, yeah.
All right. So Naomi, I'll see you next week in Eugene. Mm-hmm. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I am with Jesuit High School, the Crusaders. I'm going to say by watching Metro League champions. Yeah, okay. So this is the beginning of the season, isn't it, for you guys?
The beginning of the postseason, yes. We have had a few races invites, but this is where we're really starting to go at it.
Okay, so next week in Lane Community College, get after it. NXR in Spokane.
Yeah, build some momentum. We're definitely trying to build some momentum these next 2 weeks, and then go into NXR and hopefully get a top 2 and make it to NXN.
There's some really good Jesuits in the United States, aren't there?
Yeah, there is.
It's crazy. Well, congratulations, guys, and we'll see you next week at Lane Community College.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay.
We move from Oregon, that is a state where you just qualify out of your league meet, to Washington that has league meets also, but the following week has regional meets, which encompasses more territory, more teams, and that's how they qualify for the state meet. It's called the Westside Classic. It's at University Place, Washington, at the Chambers Creek Regional Park, not too far from Tacoma, Washington. It had rained overnight quite a bit. When I got to the course in the morning, it was still raining pretty hard. The 1A, 2A, 1B, 2B races were under rain and wind. The interviews are from the 3A, 4A races, and they ran in windy conditions and muddy course, but they didn't get to run in the rain. But it was still a slow course, and so the times that I'll read to you are a little bit slower than probably the athletes wanted, but that's kind of how it goes when you have weather like that. It's called the Westside Classic, and the 3A winner was Lejla Carlsson, 3A girls from Gig Harbor. She ran 19:08.2, and you'll hear from the 4A champion, Latham West of Bonney Lake. She ran 19:16.4, the 3A and 4A champions for the girls.
I'm with Lejla Carlsson of Gig Harbor, the champion of the Westside Classic. I have to ask you about the conditions. Sloppy, muddy, and windy. How did you manage the course?
I just wanted to, I knew it was going to be quite a different race than normal, but I just wanted to take what it would give me. I knew that I would probably feel kind of slow when sucking down, but just wanted to practice getting my feet under me, because you never know when a race is just going to not be the conditions that you're expecting.
Lejla, does this give you confidence for next week at the state meet?
Yeah, I'm so excited. We don't know the team scores yet, but
Latham West of Bonney Lake, won by a lot. And how was that what your plan, to win by that much?
Well, my plan was to get sub 18, but given the conditions today, that just was not going to happen. Like, I don't know if you can tell by the anguish in everybody's faces, but wind exceeding 20 miles per hour, force completely run through. The goal was to just get first. I didn't know by how much it was just to go and run my race. And even though I'm a little disappointed in my time, I'm happy with the results.
Well, the time is like, it's windy, it's super muddy. I saw you running on both ends of the course, like to avoid it. It's a bummer about the weather, but you ran really well.
Thank you.
Are you excited about next week?
I'm so excited. Like, I've been working towards the state championship meet my entire high school career. I've really been wanting the state championship title, and I'm determined. I'm not underestimating any of the competition. You never know who's going to show up that day, but I really just want to run my best and come back my senior year just impressed and ready for regionals.
Well, thank you so much, Latham.
Yeah.
Before we talk to the boys that ran in the Westside Classic, I just want to remind everybody that you can go to all the galleries that we've taken in the fall, particularly the ones we just talked about. The Metro League Championship is in our westcoastxc.com, and so are the Westside Classic photos. And I took pictures from all the way from 9 in the morning until 3 o'clock. So I took the 1A, 2A, 1B, 2B races too. So check those out. Russell Moore was also there at the Westside Classic. You can check below my chin here his Instagram handle, and you can go to his bio and download the photos. And like I mentioned in the previous segment, it was a sloppy, slow course, and these athletes prevailed and were champions of their divisions. And in the 3A division, Luke Saalfeld of Bellarmine Prep won at 16:40.8. You heard from Luke. And then the 4A division was Cohen Butler of Camas. He ran 15:42.2. That's a pretty good time considering it was a really terrible course, really muddy and slow and windy. So we'll hear from both of them. And then when we come back from this segment, we'll be talking to Thor about the Oregon State meet.
I'm with Luke Saalfeld of Bellarmine Prep, the winner of the 3A Westside Classic. How did you do it?
Sign kicks, I with my teammates, sat with them for the first 2 miles, and then just did what I could, reeled in the CK guys.
And are you excited about next week?
So excited. It's been a long season, but in many ways not long enough. So excited to get this next week under our feet and all that.
Now the course has been run by like 10 other races. How did you negotiate the course?
It was pretty crappy. At one point I felt my spike coming off a little bit, sucked in by the mud, but just kept moving and try to stay light on my toes, no heel toe, all that. So.
Okay, well congratulations.
Thank
we'll
you
see
so
you next
much.
week.
Appreciate it, sir.
I'm with Cohen Butler of Camas, the papermakers of Camas, the Westside Classic 4A champion. That was tough, huh?
Yeah, that was a tough race out there. A lot of mud.
A lot of mud, a lot of wind, and you have Isaac there racing. Very competitive race. So what was your strategy?
Well, it was to kind of draft off Isaac, if I'm being honest. But about here, actually, he started to pull back a little bit. I took the lead, and from there it was kind of just dogging it out until the last hill over here, and then sprint home.
And then are you excited about next week?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a blast. The last cross country state is gonna be fun.
Yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you there next week.
Thank you.
Congratulations, and go Papermakers.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm with Thor Esbensen of IW Wells. Thor, thanks for coming on.
Great. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, we had Thor on last spring for the Oregon Track State meet, and now we're going to head over to Eugene again, except this is at Lane Community College in Eugene for the Oregon State meet for cross country on Saturday. In fact, you are bringing both of your teams there. Is that correct?
That's true. Yes, we are. Yeah,
Girls
very
and
fortunate.
boys are competing in the afternoon. So when we get to 6A, if Thor gets a little nervous talking
I'll check my bias at the door. Okay,
we're going to start with the races from the beginning all the way to the end of the day. It's an all-day event. Starts in the morning. I will say, Thor, that I have a lot of memories of the state meet being a miserable weather experience. I think it might be okay on Saturday, as far as I can tell.
No, too soon.
Too soon. I know. It's one of those things where I look and I see rain Friday and Sunday, but not Saturday. You're like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, well, I'm packing up plenty of rain gear just in case.
Okay, well, let's start with the boys 1A, 2A.
Yeah.
One of the, you know, I have to back up a little bit. I coach in the 6A division, the same division that you coach in now. And the way the meet is run, they have an intermission between the 4A and 5A. And I always thought it was great to have our kids sleep in their own bed. And so we got on the bus in the morning on Saturday. So I never saw the small schools race until the last 4 years that I've been doing this West Coast XC. And I really enjoy watching the 1A, 2A, 3A races and 4A races. And so I just want to give a shout out to those athletes. They're really awesome and they do great things. So one of the teams I've been watching through my lens the last few years is the School of Napa, which is in the Oregon coast, kind of on near the Columbia River. Wyatt Jacobson is the top returner. He won his district meet. Napa dominated their district meet, went 1, 2, 3. I think they might be the favorites.
Yeah, I see no argument against that. They traveled well and went up against some really great teams and competed really well. And their top returner, Wyatt Jacobson, is phenomenal. Ran some really great races. Had a great battle at Vernonia against Gage. And so I think that's going to be a great race to watch up front and team wise. I was doing some checking. Napa won the Northwest Classic against some really heady competition, including Valley Catholic, OES, and Cottage Grove. They were 6th at the Harrier Classic against a bunch of 6A teams. They only have 139 kids in their school. I mean, they grow up tough out in the Astoria area there. So
yeah, they have gnarly uniforms. I like the gold and the blue font.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Go Loggers.
Go what? What are they?
Loggers.
Loggers. Okay, Napa Loggers. A very popular name for I think Vernonia has the same nickname. Logging was big time in the Oregon coast. And then we go. This is a curious one for me. It's the 1A, 2A, 3A girls combined. They all run one race. Isabel Wiebe, if I say her name correctly, of Valley Catholic's the top returner. Now, here's the interesting thing, Thor. She finished 3rd last year. She's the top returner, but she finished 4th at her district meet last year. So this year, she finished 5th at her district meet. That doesn't necessarily mean she could finish 5th at the state meet, because it seems like the kids that are in front of her are the same kids in her league. And so it's super interesting.
Yeah, certainly that league I mean, they've presented themselves and a lot of fun to see. She has a resume to build off of, but I mean, there's some gunners there in Banks. The schoolmeisters have really built in addition to their own children, a program around them. It was interesting last year, as you noted, there are teams and athletes that consider their district meet to be a qualifier for the state meet, and other teams kind of address the district meet as a championship race in its own right. I'm not trying to project. I'm curious if she was thinking, I just need to get to the state meet to get to the next race, or, if it's just that tough in her league that, anyone on any day kind of a deal.
I think it's tough in her league because if you think about it, and I don't know much about the smaller schools, so I apologize, but just using my common sense, they run in the 3A division. There must be a massive difference between a 3A school and a 1A school, I would think. So she's in a league with all these 3A school teams, and they're just maybe just a little bit stronger than 1A schools.
Yeah, certainly that combination of 1A through 3A, that's taking schools. I think there's some schools as small as 16 kids all the way up through schools that are upwards of 300.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big spread. Now in her league, I think that there's a little bit more of a balance amongst those top schools anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Isn't OES in that league too? Is that right or no?
Yeah.
They're really strong.
Valley
That's a really
Catholic,
strong program.
OES.
Yeah. And then I looking at athletic.net, I have Enterprise and Banks as the top teams. Banks won it last year.
Mhm.
Enterprise is always
Always.
in the hunt. They're
Always.
really strong.
Yeah, it's that Wallowa water up there. It's got something. They're in it.
That is a travel from Wallowa to all the way to Eugene. That is a
They may be staying overnight the night before. I don't know if they're getting up in the morning like
I mean, I've gone from Portland to Joseph, Oregon, and that's a big trip. And then you add Eugene, so that'll be a fun race to watch and see who comes out. But the schoolmeisters, there's Sophie, and she has a sister Molly who's a freshman who could go 1-2. The schoolmeisters could go 1-2. In the boys 3A, I thought this was really fun. Diego Zambrano is from Santiam Christian, is the top returner. He won his district meet, so everything looks great. But the 3A boys race is really stacked with some super studly kids. Like Ronan Gonzos of OES is a really great runner. But a kid that did not run in the state meet. What's that?
354 in the 15 last spring. I mean, he is a fast kid.
Yeah, he is legit. And an athlete who did not run in the state meet last year is Jaden Warner of Warrenton, who's having himself a season. And I'm going to say this, I don't like making predictions, but I think he might win this race.
I think he's certainly in the running. There are some exceptional runners in this race individually.
Yes, absolutely.
On that side. I was trying to do some digging around. Jaden apparently had something happen where he dropped out of his district meet last year and missed the state meet.
Okay.
And I would have to assume that would be an injury issue or illness last year. I haven't been able to pin that down, but yeah, he did an exceptional summer. I believe was training in Texas. Is that?
He told me that. I interviewed him at the end of Meriwether.
Mm-hmm.
He, I think his dad lives in Texas, and he spent the summer with his dad, or me vice versa.
Yeah, and he trained with some kids down in Texas and came back ferocious. But yeah, you got Ronan in there. You've got Henry Stone from Sayusla, who is a very talented sophomore. With that kind of talent and only a sophomore, I mean, who knows?
Right.
And then you've got Gus and Diego, and that is just a loaded top tier.
I saw Jaden Warner run at the night meet, finished second. There were some very good senior boys at the night meet. I went, whoa, look at this. Then I went to Meriwether. He wins it, and I interview him, and I said, where are you going next? He goes, well, I'm going to Woodbridge.
Right.
And I said, oh, okay, I'm going there too. I'll see you there. Well, he's not just going to Woodbridge. He's running the rated race, which is very good. I know the sweepstakes is the number one race, but rated is really good. He wins that by a lot.
Hard to get into and then to win it.
Yeah, hard to get into, then to win it. He goes to Nike Portland XC, and that was a pretty stacked field. He finishes fifth. I want to make sure we know that Ronan was in that race, and I think I have it somewhere here. He finished 14th, and Diego finished 36th. It's a very intense race, and so those 3A kids just mixed it up.
Yes.
Jaden then was in the Rose City Championship and finished third there. So he's had some. I mean, he's running against the big boys and really hanging in there.
Absolutely. I mean, that race amongst the top individuals is going to be wild.
Yes.
But I think that team title is going to be exceptional.
Sayusala, Niakani, who else do you have?
Well, I do think off paper, I've seen these teams run a couple of times, while I've been busy doing some other coaching on the side. They've battled, they've gone at each other a couple of times. Sayusla does seem to have the leg up, but Niakani will not back down, I don't think. But Sayusla has had the edge in some of those bigger races that they've gone up against each other in.
Oh, that'll be fun.
It seems to be it always is, but it's a numbers game. Sayusla through Niakani through 4 and Sayusla through 5. It'll be fun to watch.
I need to make a correction.
Sayusla loves showing up at the end.
I could make it the Jaden show here, but Jaden finished second at the Rose City. I think I said he finished third, but he finished second. So
In
lots
a
of
hard fought second. That was a crazy finish.
yeah, yes, he was right there and gets with Malachi. Yeah, it was great. Now I got to talk to you about the 4A race. I'm really fascinated by the team from LeGrand
Yeah.
because I have these stats here. They had an individual winner in 2021. They went 2-3-4 individually in 2022, wins the state meet as a team, goes 1-2-3 in the state meet individually in 23. In 24, they go 1-3, and it's possible they might go 1-2 this year. I mean, kids graduate, right, Thor? They don't stay there forever. These are different kids. And
Foreseeably, I think that's true.
yeah, so I don't think they do the COVID thing with the colleges do. Brooke Perry is the defending champion, and she beat her teammate Lindsey Brown by 0.2 of a second. Now you mentioned we weren't at this meet. It could be they ran together and just finished together, and it was. But I don't know. That's still it was an impressive time. So LeGrand sometimes doesn't win the state meet. They only won it once. But they have every year they have individual runners that can compete with the front. It's just pretty incredible.
Yeah, it'll be a great team battle. It's tough to project we don't have a whole lot of head-to-head data from LeGrand versus other known teams.
Correct. The other team
for
that's
people
strong.
that don't know, LeGrand is kind of out there in the gorge. It's not easy for them to get to a lot of these common meets where there's a lot of crossover to kind of, test each other against each other.
Yeah,
and certainly when you look at LeGrand versus Klamath Union, Klamath
never
is
see each other
on the other side of the world from LeGrand as far as those two schools are concerned.
Yes, those people
so
are familiar
there's
with.
Not there.
Yeah, with the people unfamiliar with.
Yeah, not a lot to compare.
LeGrand is like in the northeast corner, really closer to Washington, and Klamath Falls is in the central south, actually very close to California. They would really, this is the only time they probably see each other.
So we kind of have some cross metrics with cross metrics, but LeGrand's top two, but it could very well go 1-2.
Yeah, they do that every year.
Kind of sort it out from there, but Klamath Union is very talented and deep as well.
Yeah. Okay, now we go to the boys 4A, and we have, individually Corbin Sage of Marist. Marist has individual runners also, like we talked about LeGrand every year. He won his district meet last week. Molalla is a strong team. What do you know about the 4A boys?
Well, certainly Corbin Sage is a singular name to keep an eye on amongst a couple others. I think, as you mentioned, top returner, but I think he will see some challenges from some other individuals. And Molalla looks strong. They won the Shampooey Invite against a number of 5 and 6A teams.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Pretty well. I do think that Molalla appears to be the team favorite. But I would not consider that locked. I think it'll be a really fun meet to watch, and there are some gifted individuals in there. I think certainly a race to watch. I did not see a whole lot of crossover between teams that compelled me to lean one way or the other after that. Speaking my truth here.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really interesting. 6A, it's really Portland and Salem, and so they see each other all the time. And 5A tends to be like Bend and Southern Oregon, and they tend to like travel and come up and go to Eugene and go to Portland areas, and so they see each other. But these smaller schools, they're a big distance from each other, and you just don't see them competing very often we don't really see them as often. So then Thor, I might have mentioned this earlier, they take an hour break, course is open, the tents come down from the smaller schools, the tents come up with the 5A and 6A schools, and our first race after the break is the 5A girls. I think this is going to be super compelling. I think it's really close between Summit and Crater. And Summit this is incredible, Thor. They had a 15-year winning streak, 15-year in a row. They were also in 6A sometimes, They are in 6A had, at the time, Jesuit girls are going to NXN, Sunset girls are going to NXN. Lincoln girls were really good at that time, So I think that's an incredible streak, but it was broken last year by Crater.
Yeah, Yes, I mean Crater has been so strong on the boys' side for so long, in a lot of great battles between them and Summit, and when Crater was in the 6A with the other 6A schools. But yeah, that was quite a statement last year when the Crater girls pulled it off against Summit. I think that kind of fired both of them up. They've both been running terrific this year.
Yeah.
So. And we have not, kind of like we were saying with some of the other races, we have not seen a whole lot of crossover competitions with Crater. We've seen Summit race a couple of teams that we're familiar with, but Crater's been a little bit more harder to compare with.
And I want to mention about the Crater Summit battle. 2 years ago, that was the 15th year in a row Summit won. It looked like halfway through the race, Crater was leading. I think I was next to Doug Binder of Dice Dad. He was on his phone saying, "Oh my gosh, Crater's ahead by quite a bit." And those Summit girls, they're champions. They closed it, but last year Summit just didn't have the depth to get Crater, and they're really close again this year. So it'll be really fun between those two schools.
Yeah, and they both have gunners up at the front. That'll be leading those packs. It should be, pretty impressive. And 5A continues to show its depth. Those are really quality teams down the line.
Oh yeah, and Maddie Carney of Caldera, another really strong school in the Bend area, is the top returner. She won her district, which included the Summit girls. And so it's not like an easy district to win. So that's impressive. And so you've got a depth of individual athletes. Bryn Davenport from Crater, that's really strong. And Summit's got some excellent upfront runners too. And so that'll be super fun. I like those little battles there that go back and forth. Can Crater defend their title, and can Summit reclaim their titles? So
yeah, and kind of that over the mountain rivalry. They're for people that don't know the Oregon, they're on opposite sides of that mountain range there, and so kind of crossing those mountains to see each other is kind of cool.
Yeah, and both programs just have a super long. Well, it's not been a school for very long, maybe 25 years or 20 years, but since that time, they both have just have a long history of being excellent teams in Oregon. In the boys 5A, there's again another one with just a lot of individual boys. Like we've got Mason Morikawa of Caldera. He's the top returner, but then there's Bjorn Blankenship of Summit, who's really improved from last year. And then you've got Ty Serino of Central High School, who won his district by over a minute.
Yeah. And
then, Crater graduates their two superstars, Josiah Tossenson and Tavon Kitchen. But Central Catholic has a wonderful inscription on their tent that says something like "Tradition doesn't graduate" or something like that.
That's right.
Crater tradition continues. They should be there. Challenging Summit.
Yeah, I mean, Mason Moracle has been fantastic and on point, as has Bjorn. And Mason traveled over to do the Crater 5K that they do on the track there, and had an awesome battle with Garrett Fott of Crater. So those top athletes have all raced each other in tight top races. So that's going to be exciting to see what happens when we get to Saturday. And and then you also have to throw in Ty Serena, who's been a fantastic athlete since his freshman debut, 3 years ago. He's always been up in the top. So the thing that's fun about those athletes is not a one of them shies away from just going out there and just running it.
Yeah.
I expect that to be a very fast, very competitive. I think they'll be feeling each other out, kind of going into that second mile and then just really getting ready to rip that last mile. But I think it'll be a pretty heated pace in the 5A boys.
Right. And Summit is ranked third regionally by DiceStat. Crater is not ranked, but they were ranked earlier this season. You mentioned this earlier.
Sure.
Crater hasn't been to a lot of meets in October, so we just don't. Maybe this DiceStat just doesn't know what they can possibly do. So I think it'll be close. It'll be very exciting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think sometimes you hear no news is good news. I don't know that that's the case with Crater. I think, no news might be that they're down there crafting some plots. So we'll see what happens. It'd be wild though.
Yeah, at the night meet, there are two young kids, the freshman and sophomore, just dominated their night meet. I have to mention the night meet is a super competitive race. It's done by grade level, but it's pretty competitive, and they just destroyed the field. So they're on the young side, but they're still competitive.
Yeah.
They'll be really hard to handle the next few years with those two superstars that are just freshman and sophomore.
Absolutely.
Now we go to the girls 6A. And, we have Nelita Dalgas of North Salem. She's the top returner. Ellery Lincoln finished right behind her. They ran against each other at the Rose City Championship, and Ellery won that race. Ellery had a big week last week. She committed to Oregon verbally. And so I don't know. Ellery's looked good this year. She looks like she's ready to rumble.
Yeah, we talked about it last spring. She had an illness, a lingering illness that really took her out of her sophomore campaign for various spots. But she has very much looked the championship role lately, that she kind of started off her career with. So it should be very exciting to see what she has. Tremendous speed. I'm sure she's very excited about having 300 meters on the track to finish with her pretty legendary speed. Dalgas is just such a force and just a tough, let's just go to work mentality. So definitely should be a really fun battle up front with those individuals. And I'm sure there's, somebody else out there that's going to try and put their hat in the ring as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to
those two have certainly put themselves out front.
Correct. And the team-wise, I think it's kind of up in the air. I mean, Jesuit girls are ranked 5th in the regional rankings, but I don't know. I think they could win it, but there are other teams that can challenge them, don't you think?
Yes. It was such a tight battle last year with Lincoln and Jesuit, and I don't think it's any different this year. They both have, put themselves out there at major invites and performed exceptionally well. They haven't had a whole lot of crossover. They certainly have, but it'll be really interesting to see, now that we're at the end of the season, how they kind of all come together. And, definitely a battle within the numbers there in terms of, where can Jesuits, top 5 depth place themselves between, Lincoln's top 2 and their next 3. There's some gaps in there that, I'm sure both teams are running a lot of numbers on right now.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that the key will be the 5th runner for both of those schools, right?
Sure.
And where the 6th runner is, the 4th runner is. So
that not to discount teams like Sherwood and many others.
Sherwood has a lot of athletes. They're very deep, and Sherwood's one of those teams where your number 1 runner could be the number 4 runner the next week, and that's not a bad thing. It's just they're just very versatile. So.
Yeah, and a lot of familiar last names in that Sherwood squad.
There is.
They've got some families coming through there that are well aware of the expectations and what they want to get done and what needs to get done. So that should be very exciting.
And our final race, which I think might be the most exciting race, will be
going on
6A. Because Malachi Schoenherr of Sheldon won it last year, and you think, well, he won it last year as a junior, therefore he will repeat. and I think he would like that also. But gosh, he's had some nice wins, but he's been challenged by other athletes in Oregon this year. It's not been easy. He looks great. He's improving, but other boys are improving too.
Yeah, and I think that's one of those things that whether you want to call it the rubber band effect or you get the target on your back. Other athletes are making their run at them and they're closing those gaps. Kellen Williams at Jesuit looks as formidable as anybody else in that field. Certainly Malachi is such a gifted athlete. And again, he's another guy that's looking at that track finish thinking like that's good news for me at the Oregon State meet with that 300-meter finish. Yosuke has been on fire. It just seems like a lot of these guys have been just trading blows throughout the year when they have run up against each other. Just a lot of back and forth, and not sure if that's who's stronger on that day or who's kind of feeling who out and what meet. But it just seems like there's been a lot of kind of back and forth amongst all those top individuals.
Yeah, Yusuke Shibata of South Eugene, they're in the same league. And so with Malachi, sorry. And so they've had opportunities to race each other. And then they've raced each other up here in Portland too. Kellen Williams is just a beast, He could really get in there and he could win it too. It's going to be very fun.
And there's other athletes who have throw their names in periodically. Lucas Frank out at Mountainside has been up there in the mix in various races. There are a number of individuals who look to be in that top 5 to 7.
And then Jesuit boys are outstanding. They're ranked 5th in the country. You probably can say that they're definitely the favorites. Unless something really disastrous happens, they should win the state meet. They have eyes to make it to return to NXN. It's been fun to see all those Jesuits in the DISTAT top 10. That doesn't even count the Jesuit in Florida. That's really good too, Right. But Lincoln is in the hunt. They have a good young team.
Very, very talented young team.
And don't sleep on Ida B. Wells.
I've met those guys. Yeah.
Ida B. Wells, I don't know. You're talking about you were at the district meet at the PIL, so you can address this. It was an honest race? If it's an honest race, you guys are right there with Lincoln.
Yeah, it was. It was an interesting race at the PIL championships. Pretty tactical. I think teams kind of feeling each other out. There were 5 very good teams in that league trying to vie for 2 spots and potentially 2 at-large bids. So it was kind of a quiet storm until that last mile and everybody broke open. And Lincoln is very good with some very good closers, which speaks really well to the state meet. If they can put themselves in good position in those ponds and do some hunting coming around that last loop, that last 1,000 meters onto the track, they should be very formidable. But as you said, Jesuit is certainly, put their flag in the sand. We are the favorites. Ida B. Wells did well against Lincoln at Rose City, and against some other great teams that were there. They're going to have to, kind of put their heads down and do work. But I'm biased. I don't know. I can't speak too much about that.
Well, let's hope top 4 go up to the podium. Let's get you guys up there on the podium. That'd be really fun.
Absolutely. Well, and then you've got teams. You've got Sherwoods and, when you have top runners like Sheldon has in their top 2, always dangerous when you start running those numbers games. So there's a lot of excitement on that team side as well to see kind of what comes together.
Yeah, that'd be great. Looking forward to it. If it rains, it rains. But I'm looking forward to the state meet on Saturday and getting pictures of all that. And I really appreciate, Thor, you coming on and breaking down the Oregon State meet. I know you're working. You got a team to get ready for on Saturday, girls and boys. So I appreciate you taking the time out and doing this with us.
Absolutely. Anytime and all the time. I appreciate the invite every time.
All right. Well, Thor, good luck this weekend. And thanks for coming on.
All right. We'll see you down there in Eugene.
We'll do.
Can't wait.
All right. Okay, I'm in with Matt Ellis of Bellarmine Prep High School. Hey, Matt.
Hey, how's it going, Ken?
Going great. We want to talk to you about the Washington State meet on Saturday. How many Washington State meets have you gone to, you think?
Uh, as a coach, 29.
Wow.
Yeah, and then a couple as a high school athlete.
Was it out there in Pasco?
Actually, I'm going to date myself. I ran at the first meet that was held in Pasco. It was in the fall of 1988,
Wow.
and so it's been there ever since.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to one of your guys, Phil Urian,
Oh yeah.
on
Yeah.
Saturday, and he said
Mhm.
in '81 he ran the state meet in Evergreen, or he said something
Yeah.
like Evergreen or something like that. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Not always
Yeah.
been there. Now I have never been to the Washington State meet.
Mhm.
When I drive to Spokane for the indoor meet or go out to Spokane for a meet, I
Mhm.
always look over to my left and I see the golf course. I see the airport next to it.
Right.
In awe, like, gosh, I want to go to this meet sometime. Can you tell me about the meet? What's the vibe? Do the kids like the course? What is it like?
I mean, it's well, I mean, the course has evolved over the years, and I know, um, at least as a coach, and I think a lot of athletes have enjoyed the new change. So it's the first mile has been pretty traditional. It was a little different, but way back when. But um, it starts on, of course, golf course. So a little uphill, downhill, up a hill, about 800 meters in, and then you kind of circle around where basically coaches and spectators can see you again. Probably the one complaint I would have on the course is that the first mile isn't very visible.
I saw, yeah, you sent a course map.
Yeah, yeah, because there's a housing development there,
Uh-huh.
and then
Yeah, it goes around housing. That's right.
yeah. But the nice thing is that the second and third mile now are
Okay.
on a loop that they basically do twice.
Hmm.
And so it's very visible. Of course, the athletes, especially if you've been there a couple of years, that loop well. And I think probably one of the best things about the course is it's a fair, honest course. Um, Personally, I'm not of the mindset that cross country should be grass track. It's a
I've seen
separate.
a lot of arguments about, yeah, golf courses.
Yeah. And the nice thing about this golf course, it rolls and there's lots of variation. There's turns. And it's just a fair, honest course. And it has been really, I think for years. So, it's kind of cool. We've been, again, it's been there since 1988, to the present. And I think the athletes really enjoy it. There's been, of course, a lot of, changes with technology. We as coaches used to wait by the clubhouse.
Yeah, I'm thinking that 1 mile around the housing development is like terrifying for coaches, but they probably have like pads that have.
Yeah, now we pads splits at mile, 2 mile, en route.
That'd be terrifying. You just don't know what happened.
Oh yeah, yeah, and the only thing is that at the beginning you can see it, and if someone falls, they'll call it back. And of course, that is a horrible feeling as a coach when you hear that second gun.
Oh yeah,
and you're like, oh, who went down?
Yeah.
And a couple years back, one of the boys' races, I want to say they had to restart it 2, maybe even 3 times. It was
Wow.
nuts. Yeah. So.
And then most of the teams in Washington are spending the night in the Tri-Cities, right?
Yeah, because 80% of the teams probably come from, depending on classification, come from west of the mountains.
Right.
Like for example, I'm sure we'll talk about particularly the Seahome girls a little later, but coming from Bellingham, they come down Thursday.
Wow. Yeah.
And so they're spending, a couple nights, and then you really, depending on weather, and this hasn't happened too much. A couple years ago, they closed the pass.
I remember that.
Yeah, and we drove down into Oregon.
Correct.
Back on I-84. I think Seaholmes had to spend an extra night east of the mountains because so there's just there's funny wrinkles like that. I've been on the pass and, in a snowstorm and just gotten through before they closed the pass over the years. Yeah, it's a little bit of adventure.
Yeah, it's a little hairy. Okay, well,
Yeah.
that's good. I got a good feel for the meet. Kids like going there. It's an overnight meet for most teams. For Spokane teams, maybe not, or do they? What do you think? 2 hours away?
Yeah, I think. Well, no, a lot of them come down the day before,
Want to run the course?
run the course. Yeah, and then there's generally people have their alternates, time trial the course,
Mhm.
and over the years that's kind of evolved. I'm pretty sure the Spokane group, they have a set time on Friday where they
Mhm.
get, a bunch of teams together, their alternates and time trial the course in the
Oh, that's
afternoon.
fun.
Yeah, yeah. So I think most teams are spending the night. So
Okay, well, let's go through the meet. It starts at
yeah,
9:30 on Saturday. I've seen pictures of the meet. Sometimes it can be pretty sunny there. It's on the east side of the Cascades. Can
right,
be.
right,
In the girls' race, one of the strong teams is in the Spokane area is the St. George's School, and
right.
Reagan Thomas won it last year. Pretty fast time last year, and then she ran a qualifying time that's pretty fast, 18 flat point nine.
Yeah,
Uh, who
yeah.
else do you want to talk about in the one B? This is the 1B 2B race at 9:30.
Yeah. I think, there's the ninth grader out of Manson, who actually ran, because, 1B2, she ran as an eighth grader. She ran on their varsity last year.
And that's allowable in Washington.
Yeah, for the smaller classifications.
Okay.
Yeah. And so she actually beat Thomas at the Battle of 509,
Wow.
just in October, by actually, I think 29 seconds. So,
Uh-huh.
um, obviously, so you got a little personal rematch there. And then of course, you got the team battle as well.
Right.
Obviously St. George is in there, and Chihuahua and John Paul II, and I think don't also sleep on Liberty Bell out of the Okanagan there. So
Okay.
yeah,
And then the 1A girls is next at 10 a.m. and Logan Ignacio from Meridian finished
yeah,
second last year, but then she went up to Bellingham and ran 18:48.7. That race was combined with the 2A girls race.
mhm,
So she got to run with some superstars and mixed it up with the Seaholm girls and Sloan Dixon of Linden.
right.
So she's knows what it's like to race in big races. And then we have a gal from South Whitby too.
Yeah, Reed Atwood. Um, so that should be again a great individual battle. Again, the kind of that district, we call it a district. I think that's one up there in the north. So some really strong runners, both of the 1A and, as we'll get to, in the 2A level. And then yeah, Meridian looks really strong as a team, and then Medical Lake from
Mhm.
the Spokane area should mix it up too. So should be some good early racing.
So I'm gonna. That's a good transition to 2A girls because Logan ran with the girls from
Yes.
Seaholm, and I want to make a comment here because I don't know much about Washington. We
Uh-huh.
always talk about Spokane and being the fertile crescent of distance running, but what's going on in the really northern part of
Yeah.
Washington on I-5, where
Yeah.
Meridian is located and Linden's located?
Hmm.
Anacortes is just around the corner, and Burlington Edison, and the three schools in Bellingham, including Seaholm.
Right.
They get after it there.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, I think partly it's the competition. They traditionally, like this year, they got I think three teams out of that district. So if you're gonna make it to state, you gotta bring it.
Yeah.
Um,
They run
and
fast. Okay.
yeah, you gotta run fast. And and really, I think if you look up and down, really the I-5 corridor, especially on the girls' side, that's where there's some really strong teams coming out of.
Hmm.
And so, but yeah, and particularly, in the District 1 up there, north of Seattle. So yeah, I mean, the 2A girls race, Seaholm's really good. um, and like you wrote in the notes, they're ranked. They could be national bound. It probably, they probably comes down to their fifth runner, probably on the day there in Spokane in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Um, and of course, that's super hard meet to make, only 2 automatic bursts.
It's such a confusing meet. Camas made it like 10, 12 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and Mike Hickey was there at the finish line with me. And
Uh-huh.
he asked me, "Do you think we made it?"
Uh-huh.
And I told him he did. And I was right, but I was no idea if I was right because the kids are not wearing their uniforms.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So hard. And then also there's so many good individuals in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you may not be all that familiar with Wyoming and Idaho
Right.
and
Yeah.
Montana.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
all these kids you don't see all the time, and they're not in their uniform. I don't
Yeah.
know. Hopefully, Seahome will wear a recognizable uniform. I think they do, and so we can look for them.
Yeah. It'd be absolutely fantastic if we could get everybody on the same page.
Mhm.
You know, National Federation and USATNF and
Also, you can wear your uniforms and call that a.
yeah, and really, and also, I mean,
Sure would help. You really can't tell.
yeah, and personally, I'm just going to show my bias here and just have one national championship.
Mhm.
Um, you know, and I know that, going way back, '04 when this whole thing started, and Josh, Rowe and Truax, at Nike,
Right.
and then they're like, hey, cross country is a team and an individual sport. That's one of the things that makes it unique. Also, the fact that boys and girls, men and women compete on the same day at the same place. It's it's a really cool event and it's a special event. So it would be incredible if we could get everybody in a room and hash out all the different, have a pathway because then you could say, hey, we have a real national championship in this sport. And teams are representing their schools and their communities. And so, like you said, you go to the meet as a spectator or a coach, and you know exactly what's happening.
You can't tell sometimes. They're like, I don't know. They're not wearing their uniform. Sometimes some teams will have their script on there. I'm like, okay, that helps.
Right.
So this girls 2A race is going to be awesome, right?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Sloan Dixon is a superstar.
Yeah.
She's got her Seahome gals right there. And then you've got Grace Beachy. I saw her run in Portland from Ellisburg.
Yeah.
Crest. Yeah.
Yeah. And no, it's going to be loaded. And then, actually the gal who was 5th, Sloan Kleins of Seahome, she was only a 9th grader last year. And she is running exceptionally well. So I think for my, if we can bet on this, she might be a pick.
To win it all, huh?
Yeah, and then Dixon, of course. I think it might come down to those two in the individual battle. But again, there's probably 5 girls there at least that could take home the individual title, and then I find from a team standpoint, it's hard to fathom anyone competing with Seahome on the
day. They're the class of the field. So then we go to the boys start racing in the boys 1B. Last year, Valley Christian cleaned up. They went, I think, 1, 2, 3. But we have a boy left over from Valley Christian, Wesley Hendrickson. And who else do you see looking good in the boys 1B?
Yeah, I mean, from a team standpoint, Pope John Paul II. And so they're led by Kevin Hugh, and he won his district title. So obviously he's got a lot of team line. And I think he might be the second or third returner there too from the meet last year. So he could give Hendrickson a run for the money there in the 1B individual title.
And then the 2B boys is next 11:30. And you know what? I'm going to let you talk about it because there are a couple of kids from teams in Washington that I'm going to mess up their school names. So you go for it.
All right. Yeah. So we're the runner-up from last year, Emmett Warren, the 8th of Chihuahua.
Yes, the 8th.
The 8th, yeah. I mean, I had to go back. I had to look up some Roman numerals there to pull that one off. But and of course he won his District 6, and then Waylon Stoneberg Schaefer of Cleellum Roslyn.
Now tell me where Emmett Warren's from.
Emmett Warren, he's from Chihuahua.
There we go.
Waylon Stoneberg Schaefer is from Cleellum Roslyn, and he won his district meet. And he was the top 9th grader in the race last year. So that's something, again, as you're aware of, those 9th graders can, between 9th and 10th can
beware of
so much.
the returning 9th and 10th grade boys. They can really get better.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, that could be a really interesting individual race. And then it looks like Chihuahua and Freeman, probably the top boys teams there.
In the boys 1A, I went to the Westside Classic and saw Joshua Healy of Vashon Island
Oh yeah.
just dominate the
Yeah.
meet. And his teammates did really well too. Who are some kids you're looking at in the 1A race?
Well, yeah. Then I mean, you got the District 2 champ and Oliver Zimmerman, Cedar Park Christian, um, and then the second returner from last year was Malik Ortiz of Colville. And he cruised to his district championship. So you got to wonder, how much, probably plenty in the tank there.
Yeah.
And we also have the third returner, Ruben Tavelde of Meridian. So again, there's Meridian again,
Yeah.
and he's fresh off his district champ. So yeah, I think this is pretty interesting battle because you got a lot of top returners returning there, mixing it up. Yeah. And then, from the team standpoint, like you said, Cedar Park Christian, they won it last year. So obviously, when you're defending your title, you got a little extra inspiration,
Sure, got experience and pride. Yeah.
yeah. But I think, you look behind that, Meridian South would be Kings Medical Lake. A good battle for those, the last trophy spots. I don't know what they do in Oregon. We have 4 trophies.
We have 4 trophies also.
Okay.
Yeah. We have 4 trophies. I go down to the California State meet on Thanksgiving. They only do 3.
Oh,
Big state like that. There's only 3. I thought, okay, all right. We do.
Well, they also only have 5 classifications, and
well, we can talk about that too. The Oregon State meet. There are so many classifications that they have to sometimes. It's we went from 4 to 6. Yeah. It's crazy stuff. In the boys 2A, now we're in the afternoon, which doesn't mean that much. It's still kind of cold there, still, right?
It can be. I mean, this year the forecast is looking pretty good. 2 years ago, we actually had rain on race day, which never happens in the Tri-Cities, right?
Yeah.
And kids were slipping and sliding, and it was nuts. We hadn't had a state meet like that over there. We've had some wind, but not the kind of the west side weather. And we had it. So this year, though, knock on wood, we're looking pretty dry. So, and compared to what it was today in Western Washington, it'll be nice and balmy. And probably at 12:30.
Oh yeah. So Dylan Roll of Anacortes had a great track season.
Yes.
He won the 16 and the 32. He is the defending 2A cross country champion. He looks to be possibly the winner, but there's some other good kids in there too.
Yeah. I mean, again, you got Berkeley Pass, Bellingham. So, and these guys all ran at the top 3, or at least what we're projecting the top 3, all ran at hole in the wall. And it went, Roll, Pass, and Hammond of Ellensburg. So, but I think you're right with Dylan's experience in the track and the defending champ. He's going to be he's going to be a hard one to beat. So
he might actually. I don't know if I'm going to be wrong here. He could run the fastest time of all the.
Oh no, that's a distinct possibility. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so the Seahome girls look to dominate, but you might think that they might be the Seahome boys won it last year. But they may have a challenger. Well,
if you go back and again, it's cross country courses are not all 5K. The Mook being one of them.
Was that not 5K? I've been using them as my guide to make previews, and I'm like,
Well,
I haven't heard officially, but the people are complaining to me you got to run the book. Huh?
No, it's a beautiful course. Don't get me wrong. We've gone. We went this year, and it's a beautiful setting. But I'm not buying that it's 5K.
It was very fast.
Yeah, it's very, very fast.
In fact, the boy that ran for Gonzaga Prep, who's a freshman, he made national news because
of the
time.
Yeah. Yeah. No, not 5K. It'd be wonderful if down the road it was 5K. But again, it's cross country, so.
So I was at the Westside Classic and I saw Bainbridge dominate.
Yeah.
You think Bainbridge might?
Yeah, and the point I guess I was getting to was that Seahome and Bainbridge raced at the Mook, and they were only separated by 9 points, I believe.
And they raced the same race, so you can you can compare.
Yeah. and that was in September. So here we are in November. I'd say the thing that probably Seahome got going for it is tons of experience.
Yeah.
And the fact that you get one team, the girls are going to race first and probably dominate, and that gets everybody inspired, fired up. So so obviously probably the edge goes to Seahome, but I wouldn't count out Bainbridge here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we go this girls 3A. I just saw that Sofia Rodriguez got invited to the Brooks meet in San Diego. She is the defending champion.
Yes.
She has been pretty much the class of the state of Washington. She ran 17:21. I've been to Lake Sammamish Park for the Bellevue Invitational before, so it's not like a downhill course. I mean, that's a pretty good time.
No, I mean it's flat, but you got lots of different terrain there. You run through the beach. You start on the beach, you run through the beach, and she, I mean, all year she's looked fantastic. She dominated at the Mook against some pretty good runners,
right?
So I mean, obviously you got Cassie Armstrong's back, and who raced Rodriguez last week at districts. She's been out for most of the season, and of course she's got her teammate Sienna Johnson. But I just think Rodriguez is again, this is one of these races where I think she's the class of the field from the individual standpoint. It's just a matter probably of how fast she wants to run, and if conditions allow her to do so.
Right. And then I will say something about Cassie. It's her first race, and she was only 9 seconds behind. So it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's very impressive, for making out for so long.
Right. And I will say this, though. District races, we were actually
so people run them differently than they do at...
Well, yeah, I mean, we were talking about this today at practice, actually. Cross country is one of those sports where, unlike I think the analogy that the athlete used, like in tennis, if you're a district tennis, you're playing hard, you're playing 100%. If you're the number one seed, probably to get to state meet. If you're the number one seed at a district meet, all you gotta do is advance.
Right.
And so I think for better athletes and better teams, sometimes a district meet is just a qualifying round.
Yeah, I've seen that. We saw that Dylan Roll didn't win his district meet, and that doesn't mean very much. He made it. He qualified. Right. Some athletes can have the ability to just qualify, and that's all.
Right. And so, yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know how hard Rodriguez was running, but she looked fantastic last year on that state course and ran. I mean, we had two girls under 17 for the first time ever last year with her and Electra Higgins of Peninsula. Yeah. So, I'm sure probably in the back of her mind, maybe the forefront of her mind is running faster than last year. Yeah,
you always want to do that. I interviewed her at Uri Invitational, and I thought she ran great, but she was bummed out. She didn't run faster than the previous year. And that makes, cross country is not a sport, and kids treat it this way, like it's a track meet. Like you get like, hey, I would interview kids and go, I got the school record. Like, for what? I mean, I don't say anything. I just go, oh, great.
Right.
But
what
does that really mean? And can you trust the coaches for measuring the course correctly?
There's all that.
Yeah, but I think you can say I've run the fastest ever run on the state meet course. That's going to be pretty constant. Yeah.
And I think as you know this, whether it be Nike Portland or like at the Bellarmine Invite, it's like it's measured every year. It's accurate. But depending on how much rain we've had or how dry the summer's been,
you have no idea.
Yeah, or even our place, like how often the grass has gotten mowed. The course can vary.
It can. I mean, some courses, like when you talk about Nike Portland, see, it's a huge field, so we're making like a best guess. This is where the stakes were last year. When you go to some courses, they're paths, and it's like, well, this is going to, and maybe at the golf course because it's a fairway, maybe that's where the stakes go. I want to mention Lejla Carlsson. I saw her run last week. She looked really strong.
Yeah.
And it could, Mercer Island won it last year. Do you think they will do it again, or is there going to be a team that can challenge them?
I think, Seattle Prep beat them at districts.
Okay.
And just, at Lake Sammamish. And, so, on paper, you say, well, there's going to be an upset. or at least a new champion. Maybe not an
Mhm.
upset because Seattle Prep beat them, but again, Mercer Island's the defending champ, and
Yeah.
so they got something to race for. And I think behind those two, I think from a team standpoint, there's going to be just a lot of hard racing to get those last two trophy
Oh,
spots.
wow. That's going to be fun.
You got Bishop Blanchette in there,
Right.
Gig Harbor possibly. There's just Mount Spokane. There's a bunch of schools. I think Shorecrest, Shorewood, right? That could challenge for. So there's going to be a lot of hard running behind those two teams as well. Which,
So those 4 teams could be separated when they go up to the podium by just a mere several points. Maybe it could be really close.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
The last girls race at 1:30 is the 4A girls race. Latham west of Bonney Lake really dominated her race.
Yes.
Won by quite a bit at the Westside Classic. She looks very focused. Who else do you see in the 4A?
Well, what's interesting here is at Hole in the Wall, Audrey Willems of Eastlake actually beat West.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, it wasn't a head-to-head battle. It was in the elite race there. But she was
they weren't in the same race?
They were in the same race.
Okay.
And so, but there were just, other girls in there. Now, she got third in her district meet. Mm-hmm. But again, as we just talked about, how hard was she racing?
You don't know. Yeah.
You don't know. And then, you got Orcutt and Hirsch from Wenatchee or West Valley and Wenatchee. And then I think also what somebody you can't sleep on is Cosa of Olympia.
Yeah, I talked to Russell Moore, who takes pictures, and he's an Olympia parent, and he was saying that she was not very happy with her race on Saturday. So I think she'll be motivated to redeem herself there.
Yeah, and she's got 4:45 track speed as well. And then, so I just think, again, Latham West probably, she's going to run hard. And if anyone beats her, they're going to have to earn it for sure. But I think she's probably the smart pick there. The team race in this is, I think the 4A team races are the most interesting because I think there's really, I don't know, Issaquah, Redmond, Olympia, Camas, even I think in the girls 4A, you got to watch out from the Bears from Tahoma.
They don't have like a person that's going to like maybe get in the top 10, but they have all these girls that can go right there in the pack, get their fifth girl right in there. Yeah,
exactly. And I think they ran their district race smart. They definitely didn't like run their state race at districts to qualify. So I wouldn't count them out. Mm-hmm. They're obviously a lot of history there and tradition at Tahoma and well coached. So so I just think this the girls 4A race and actually our next race is really going to be interesting from a team standpoint.
Yeah, the boys 3A race is I have Monavos as the favorite at Central Kitsap, but there's some really good runners at like Mercer Island and Seattle Prep and the Gig Harbor boys. I mean, there's all kinds of kids in that race. It'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, I think I mean with Voss, he's a 151 800 guy.
Yeah,
and so if you're one of his competitors, you don't want him close late.
Yeah.
But he just and he was cruising last week at district.
Right. I saw that. I was like, okay, he's not going for it.
Yeah. But when he has wanted to race, he's looked really impressive.
Yeah.
This year. Then I mean then the team standpoint, this could be really interesting. I mean, the crazy thing is, and I've talked with Chris and Alexa at Central Kitsap, they're trying to bring along a number 5 there at Central Kitsap because their first 4 are
very strong,
the best 4 in the state.
Wow.
At 3A. So if they can get an inspired race out of somebody, 5, 6, or 7 guy, look out.
Yeah.
But you got Mercer Island. Seattle Prep was what 9 points behind him at districts.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously I'm a little biased. Never count out Bishop Blanchette.
They
But
return a lot of young, really good runners. Yeah.
yeah, and then Gig Harbor,
Yeah.
and I think Shorewood as well. Don't count them out. So I just think this is probably I think the most unpredictable and competitive.
If you're like a fan, you're watching the race, you're like, wow, Central Kitsap just won that event, but you have to know the sport. You have to look for their fifth, right? So
Right.
we'll
Yeah.
see what happens.
Yeah, we will.
The meet concludes at 3 p.m. with the 4A race. That is going to be also a fun race. We have these two guys that race each other quite a bit. Cohen Butler of Camas and Isaac Benjamin of South Kitsap.
Yeah.
They've had some head-to-head battles in track and in cross country. And they did again last week. They seemed like they both did an honest effort too. So
Oh yeah. I mean, if you're in a race with Isaac Benjamin, and if he's racing, which generally he is, it's going to be honest.
yeah,
And of course, Cohen Butler is, he's got a great finish.
he does. He's very strong.
And, yeah, and of course he was the top Washington runner at Nike Portland.
Right.
He won hole in the wall
In meet record time.
And he has a great kick. So, but I think this will be a very interesting 1-2 battle up.
Yeah, I think don't count Isaac Benjamin out. He just lost Saturday. He sure wants to get another chance at him, right? I mean,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then who do you see for the team?
Well, I mean, again, you look on paper, and I think Mead's the big favorite here. And then, like you said, I mean, you got Curtis and Gonzaga Prep, and Redmond's the District 1-2 champ. Camas, Tahoma, they were the second 4A team at hole in the wall. But if you look at districts, you wouldn't pick him to be second necessarily at state. And then,
But that was a weird day. It was super windy. Who knows?
oh yeah.
And the course was weird. And, I mean, I saw kids. Latham West, saw her like run. I told her she set the record for 5,042 meters because she was zigzagging around all the mud piles. So.
Yeah. And then you got Mead, Gonzaga Prep, and then I think, and here's another, you never count out Kamaikan.
Right.
Matt Rexus will have those guys ready to run.
Yeah.
And they always are when it's time, when it counts, really. And so I think in a lot of ways, this is probably the most unpredictable team race.
Gosh, it's so exciting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good luck out there. Hopefully you can get through the pass. Okay. Looks like it's clear. Maybe, hopefully. And do you guys have a favorite place to go for a team dinner on Friday night?
Friday night, yes, we do. Always make reservations. So, but I keep that.
Yeah, you don't want to tell everybody because then all of a sudden they're all We go to it's funny. Eugene is 2 hours away, and so the large schools. I coached at a large school. The races were in the afternoon, and it made more sense because it's only 2 hours away to sleep in your own bed. But in the 90s, it was only 4 divisions, and we just kind of did all the whole meet. I don't know. We ran in the morning. We would go Friday night and afternoon and check out the course, and then we would make the mistake to go to Eugene's Olive Garden. Number one. My assistant coach calls Olive Garden microwave food. I mean, it's not a cuisine, but it's like what kids love to go to the day before meet is Olive Garden. I don't think there's reservations. We just wait in this massive line and
we used to eat at Olive Garden.
Yeah, I like their breadsticks, by the way, and I like their salad. So, if they want to sponsor this, Olive Garden.
No, and it's my tip though would be if you want to eat at Olive Garden. They do a great takeout. Okay. So for years, what we did is we just got the takeout platters, and we'd go in and we'd reserve it and we'd pick it up, and then we'd reserve a spot at our hotel to eat.
Right, just eat downstairs.
Yeah, have our team dinner that way, which was worked out, better than waiting in line.
We did that once, and we put it in the lobby and set out all the aluminum trays out on the fireplace of the hotel lobby, and all of a sudden another team was in line with plates. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing here?
You just made 14 new friends.
Well, they weren't being mean. They just thought this was part of the deal at the hotel or something.
Yeah.
Excuse me, guys. Well, Coach, I'm wishing the Lions the best on Saturday,
Thank
Development
you.
Prep Lions, and I appreciate you coming on and giving us
Yeah.
insight. And we'll see you. Also, I'll see you in Spokane the following weekend.
Okay, so you'll be down in Eugene this weekend.
I'll be in Eugene. It's really a bummer. There used to be in the glory days. Sometimes the Washington Oregon State meet would not be on the same weekend.
That's right. Yeah.
But I think we're now. I don't know. I think Oregon finally caught up with the rest of the states and follows the National Federation High School start and end time. I think that's what's happened.
Okay.
And it hasn't been on. It has been on the same weekend. And so I'll be in Eugene, and then I'll head up to Spokane for NXR. So.
All right. Well, we'll see you there.
Okay. Well, Coach, thanks for coming on, and
Thanks.
And good luck to the Lions this weekend.
Thanks, Ken. Have a great night.
Want to thank Thor Esbensen of IDB Wells for talking about the Oregon State meet, and Matt Ellis of Bellarmine Prep discussing the Washington State meet. I appreciate them taking their time to do some of the research for all the different races. Both of those coaches, if you watched and listened to this episode, have teams competing on Saturday. And so that was really nice of them to take the time out of their schedule to talk with us. I really enjoyed talking to both of them. It's fun, as you've probably heard me talk. I used to coach, so it's just fun to talk to coaches and discuss racing. It's fun. You know, we've been really focusing on Washington, Oregon this week. California is going through their league meets to qualify for their CIF sectional races. Todd Takubo is our photographer down in the Bay Area, and he went to the Big West Championship last weekend and took pictures on Friday. The Big West Championship was held in Hawaii. That sounds wonderful. And this week will be going to some of the league meets in the East Bay area, so look for his photos. As for our photos, I'll be taking pictures at the Oregon State meet. I'll have the gallery up as soon as I can, so look at westcoastxc.com. And Russell Moore will be in Sun Willows Golf Course in Pasco, Washington, and you would go to his Instagram account and go to his bio and see his photos. He gets his photos up pretty quickly. So look for those galleries also for the Washington State meet and download those photos for free. Because the West Coast is the best coast. And we'll see you next week. Thanks.